Hi there, and thank you for joining me again. It's Rob here with another video for you. And yesterday, being Sunday, what would it have been? The 31st, I guess, of August. I made my way over in the trusty Robmobile over to Swindon, to Greenbridge, to the View Cinema, and I saw the, I think it's exclusive for one weekend only, or certainly like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. All over the world, I believe this was happening. And it was the IMAX event, the IMAX Prince event, where they're showing the amazing 1987 concert movie, Sign of the Times, which I originally bought probably from Our Price in Bath. And I think they had 2 or 3 Our Prices in those days. And it was the one in the middle of town, opposite what used to be Owen and Owen, for people that remember. Near the corridor, anyway, it was sort of there. And I remember going in and seeing it and picking up the VHS, and it was just like, I need to own this. And I think it came out in the 90s on a budget kind of video label. I don't know what it was. And it was on maybe the Sunday Times or something when they were issuing CDs and DVDs. I think they issued the Talking Heads movie Stop Making Sense on one of these issues. And Sign of the Times was also on that. So I've got that version somewhere, which came in just a cardboard sleeve. I've got the video version somewhere, which obviously comes in a plastic flip case, and not the cardboard ones like in the States, excuse me. And then I bought it on DVD. And anyway, I've got all of those here, but let's just get into some juice to start with. So Sign of the Times, the movie. The tour was kind of ill-fated. It didn't, like most Prince tours, it didn't go over the whole world. It seems to do Europe quite well. And then he cancelled Wembley Stadium because it was going to rain. And then he went back to Minneapolis. And I don't think he took it to Canada or around the US, I don't think. And he went home and started working on Love Sexy. I mean, I need to do a little bit more research, but I'm pretty sure that's what happened. And when you watch any of the documentaries, the Purple Rain one especially, it's interesting because he had the chance to take that Purple Rain tour, which was one of the biggest in 1984, 85, and take it all around the world and just, you know, just take that one show, it was up and running, and just move it to each territory, each continent, and he would have made a fortune, spread the purple word, and it would have been amazing because Purple Rain was #1, the album, When Doves Cry was #1 as a single, and the movie was #1, Purple Rain, in the movie chart. And the only time that's happened before was the Beatles with A Hard Day's Night, where they had #1 single, #1 album, and #1 movie. They filmed it, and they filmed parts of it in Rotterdam and in different venues in Europe, and then a whole load of it at Paisley Park as well, and put it together and made this sort of concert movie, which I've got some outtakes from, and that's brilliant. And they're online now anyway, but I got it when bootlegs were a thing. And one thing that comes clear is that, you know, Prince isn't very good at pretending to sing. You know, he's not very good at mimicking what was recorded an hour before or maybe a minute before. And that's a good thing. So there are times when he's singing stuff and he brings the mic down and the voice is still trailing off and things like that. But I think the idea of it was, as a movie, was never to be like a live... Oh my God, it's pouring. Can you hear that? Jeez. It was a sort of surreal concert movie with a slight story going through it and stuff like that. So I've always forgiven that. I know some people sort of go, oh, it's a bit annoying because why did they just use his live vocals? Yeah, I don't know. And I'm not going to get into that. It's not really about that today. But the show itself is brilliant. If you didn't go and see it, I'm sorry, you've missed it. And it may come round again, or it'll probably come out on Blu-ray soon. But it was stunning. Let's just talk about that. I mean, going to the cinema was, you know, brilliant. Just getting there, went straight through. There was like a rope across. We couldn't go in because they were still cleaning it. So I turned to the right, and then there was all of a sudden all the Symbol t-shirts were there, and Sign of the Times zip hoodies, and Purple Rain tour coats, and, you know, basically all the people wearing the garb, which is brilliant. It was really cool, and I wish I'd sort of started talking to some of them, really. I wish I had. I was just kind of stood there sheepishly with my phone waiting to go in, thinking, oh, I could have worn my Sign of the Times t-shirt. But that was great to see. It was a good turnout. Got to be about 50 people, 50, 60 people, I would say, which isn't bad, is it, really, for a Sunday? just one thing, the IMAX, the advert's gone too long. All these cinemas, come on, too long. Adverts are too long. And then there's just when you think the adverts are done, then obviously there's the trailers for the movies. They're too long. And then you get into the IMAX and you think, oh, here we go, it's going to happen. And then they just talk about how good IMAX is for about, it seems like 10 minutes, but I'm sure it's just 5. But anyway, and then we eventually got to the movie. And I'd read from other people like Prince Party UK and other Facebook sites saying how great it was and how it was loud. And they were right. The first thing I noticed was the restoration, you know, the beginning bit when he's around the corner listening to Greg Brooks, is it? With the hat on and Kat and then this other woman. And, you know, you are mine. No, yes, stop. You know, that business. And just the restoration on the picture is unbelievable. Phenomenal. Actually, it was almost, you know, spellbindingly good. And then, of course, when the guitar kicks in, when he goes running off down the street after Cat, and then Sign of the Times starts, it was stunning. And I have to say, through all of the gig, there were moments, and I've been listening to that since I was 17 in 1987. I was 17, so I've listened to that and watched that video all through my life to this present time, and I'm 55 now. And I heard instrumentation and various lines that I'd never heard before last night. You know, whoever remastered that and remixed it has done a fantastic job of bringing out other things. It was a whole new experience, I have to say, totally different to anything I'd experienced before. And again, you know, you read these people saying this stuff like, you've got to go because you will hear things you've not heard, you will see things so differently. And yeah, I've got to say, it was absolutely right. It was stunning. And it was quite emotional at times, because obviously he's been dead now since 2016. And as you know, I've got other artists that I love, of course, but as far as I'm concerned, as far as a live artist, and from when I get told, oh, this up and coming, he or she is the new thing, you know, you sort of watch it and you go, yeah, they're okay, but and it's annoying. It's you know, it's almost like that advert where you see the Beatles and they say, sorry for raising the bar too high or whatever. And, you know, that's subjective, but, you know, it's almost that with Prince with me. It's like, well, yeah, Lenny Kravitz was good, but he wasn't quite the thing. And then other people come, Bruno Mars, not quite the thing. And you know what I'm saying. I mean, they're all great artists, by the way, but he was just, yeah, like nothing else. So seeing Housequake and Hot Thing, and also actually seeing it a few years on, how Hot Thing, you know, there's moments with the dancing and some of the stuff that was saucy then, but now it seems, you know, completely against, you know, the world we live in, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I just found myself going, oh, actually, I wouldn't have thought like this, you know, in the 80s or 90s, but now I'm thinking it's a bit like, oh, but not really in a bad way. It's of the time, you know, and I still loved it. And now's the time, talking of time, watching the instrumental was brilliant, and that big fat Sheila E drum solo on there was amazing. And just, as I say, seeing everything so clearly and so clean, just phenomenal. And at the very end, it was really sweet because I was thinking, I'm going to clap. And then when it finished and the cross, the last tune had finished, and Bonnie Boyer's there, sat on one of the rostrums, and she's been dropping petals down. That's how the cross starts. And then they reverse that at the end, so the petals are coming back up into her hand. And I thought, oh, am I going to clap here? But no, I actually waited till the end of the credits. So it was like went through all the band members, and then it sort of goes sort of pink or puce or orange sort of colour, and then the rest of the credits roll up with the love hearts next to them and the peace symbol and all that. And then we all just, other people started clapping and going, yeah, and I did the same. It was brilliant. Like the hairs on the back of my neck went up, and a little bit emotional, you know. I mean, not bawling out, but just, you know, tears were rising. And most of us stayed to the very end of the credits, till it said, may you live to see the dawn, you know, stayed till the very end. Some people walked out, but most of us stayed to the very end. And I got back in the car and texted a few people, and it was just like, wow, what an experience. And today, you know, you can't even recreate it, 'cause if you put on other versions, which I'll talk about in a minute, they're just not going to do it. And I think, you know, apart from the sort of lip syncing thing that I mentioned earlier, which I've got no issue with, and as I say, it's not really, and there's times where, you know, Sheila's hit a cymbal and the cymbal doesn't sound because obviously it was from a different take, and all that stuff. That's what you get when you make videos, right? It's not a live performance. The Love Sexy live video is the real deal, and hopefully they'll do that with that. But that's like 2.5 hours long, isn't it? But like I said earlier, it's like a surreal concert movie, this, you know. So they are live footage, and some of it is live at times, but not all of it is gonna completely line up. But it's more of a performance, you know. Once you buy into that, it's great. And one thing it is good for is watching just how he moved, you know. And I'm not going to get into the Michael Jackson Prince thing because, you know, I make no qualms about it. I'm not a Michael fan. I never was. My sister was. I don't think he wasn't very good. It's not that. He was amazing. The moonwalk was his thing, though I know other jazz dancers did it years before in old black and white movies. Same as they did the splits, like Prince, you know. But yeah, he was never my artist. He was always too poppy for me. And then he had all that stuff that happened at the end of his career, which was a shame, really, that it all got a bit messy. Quincy Jones walked away and all that. Anyway, and the only album I own, which I borrowed from my sister, I say borrowed, I just sort of took it years ago, was Off the Wall. That's the only album that I really like. Everything else, you could just leave over there somewhere. Yeah, so I'm not getting into it. That's just how I feel. As I say, he's brilliant, he's really good and all that. It's just not my bag. And I'm a musician, and I saw someone like Prince, and it was like, and then Miles Davis was saying how cool he was, so it was like, and then Paul McCartney was going how good he is, Herbie Hancock, you know, all these people, Joni Mitchell. Anyway, so yeah, Prince was my artist. So when you watch this, you really get to see him dance. The spins, the splits, the microphone splits, jumping off of rostrums, you know, crawling along on his back, doing the crab, and then splits, and ripping off Kat's dress by going through her legs and then putting it in his mouth. And it's just exciting. As I say, some of it might not be very sort of PC these days, but as a performer, I mean, even if you've watched it with the sound down, this is what I used to say to students at BIM, even if you watch it with the sound down, you're not going to see anyone dance like that. You know, Michael can't dance. No one dances. Same as Prince can't do what Michael does. That's fine. He never wanted to. Same as Michael didn't want to do what Prince did. But yeah, it's more exciting, more sexy. And the fact that you can just pick up an instrument, you know, is great. And for that, obviously, there are other live videos like the Love Sexy DVD, which is great. The Syracuse Purple Rain show is good for that. He's on different instruments. And, you know, plethora of other DVDs and bootlegs you can get where he's jumping on bass, piano. But, you know, for just 1987 to get a little kind of snapshot of what was happening and how good he was, and the band. I mean, the band are just on fire with Sheila E., you know, Dr. Fink, Bonnie Boyer, Miko on guitar, and also you've got Levi on bass. I mean, in the the two male dancers, Greg and Wally, and then Kat, of course. It's just, you know, fire. When people say fire, it can be a bit cheesy, but it is fire. From the minute they start off, it's just fire. And it doesn't stop. And the only sort of hit on there, really, you know, older hit is Little Red Corvette, I believe. The rest of them are all just from that album. So, though in the live set, he played Girls and Boys and Kiss and all the other stuff, When Doves Cry. But for the video, they just kept it mostly the new releases for the album, which was Sign of the Times. And speaking of which, here's my copy here. Now, Sign of the Times, I think, is probably his finest album for the critics. It's a double album. He famously plays everything and does everything on it. At a time when he was making sort of 5 other albums. Yeah, I mean, only he could do that. But it's great. I mean, I remember seeing the cover thinking, what the hell is that? Especially after you've seen Parade, which is my favourite album. Parade, Purple Rain, Around the World in a Day. They've got a certain look. It's kind of obvious, where this is almost like an outtake. You think, well, he's blurred, it's a bit messy, what? But that adds to how cool it is. Just a great record, really good. So I've got that. I've also got this, which is so hard to pick up, the massive mega deluxe box set, which is just superb. It's got every Sign of the Times thing you need from that period, plus bootlegs, outtakes, 12-inch mixes, single mixes. It's all in there, and it's on vinyl. And the other thing I got, Sign of the Times related, is this, which comes from Germany, I think. And it's the same show I saw last night. and it was another version, so it was remastered for then, whenever that was. I think it was recently, actually. I think it's 2023 or something like that. But it's really good anyway. It comes with a really nice booklet, which is in here. A really nice booklet full of pics and some cards and posters and bits and bobs. Oh, I can't find the booklet. Oh, there's the poster. Anyway, all that stuff's in there, and pictures and stuff. I'm sure there's a booklet in there somewhere. Anyway, these are the discs, and you got the concert film, bonus interviews, which were good. More, but actually 2 lots of bonus interviews, and then the concert film Blu-ray, I believe. One's DVD, one's Blu-ray, so you get both. So that was worth getting. So that's a nice sort of little package to get. And as I say, I've got the video somewhere and stuff like that. So if they're still showing it somewhere, or I don't think they are, I think it was just literally that weekend, then go and see it if you're a Prince fan. If you're not a Prince fan, still see it. It's a great piece of pop music history. But yeah, I enjoyed it. It was great. I don't always make it to those sort of events. I sometimes, because I'm busy gigging, I sometimes miss it. But this time I knew I couldn't miss it and I had to go. So as I say, it's not like a really in-depth review, just talking about how cool it was. And what you missed, unfortunately, was the great sound and the great restoration of the pics. And if you're a Sign of the Times fan, let me know in the comments below. If you went to see the movie, leave it in the comments below. As ever, thank you for joining me. Keep liking, subscribing and sharing. It's really useful for me and my channel as it's still growing steadily. So yeah, and if you don't know the album and you've never seen the video, go watch it, go listen now. Okay guys, thanks for tuning in. I'll be around again later in the week with another video, so take care and I'll see you soon.